I've been communicating the fact that people just are kind of mistrusting. I mean, Trump was elected by mistrust of government. They wanted change.
Right.
And what we're seeing here, what bothers me is kind of like the old, I can't remember whether it's sausage or hot dogs, being a vegetarian, I can't recall which you like less if you know how they're made. Okay, sausage. I mean, if you just see it all wrapped up in the meat counter, that's one thing. If you see all the stuff that goes into it, and when you sit through city council meetings and committees and work sessions, as I do, you see the sausage of a police facility bond being made, and believe me, it isn't really pretty. It's pretty ugly, and it bothers me, and that's one of the reasons. It's not the reason most people are going to vote for or against it, but to me, to vote for this is encouraging a flawed process where, for example, on November 12th, a week after the bond failed, I and the others in Salem Community Vision and me representing Salem Can Do Better wrote Mayor Bennett, to the police chief, the city council, saying we want to work with you. We who helped to defeat it want to now help to pass a bond. And I got an email back from Mayor Bennett that said, things are busy, no time right now, a couple of months we'll be getting to this. I'll get back to you, Brian. Wait. It's now January, nothing's happening. We never were invited to the table. The new plan was made by people, what I call the powers that be. I mean, they had ex-mayor Janet Taylor and Jerry Frank were part of kind of the leaders or the figureheads on a committee that John Hawkins led, and they came up with this 115,000 square foot plan along with city staff. But we that opposed it were only invited to be there at the very end, and so we weren't part of the discussions. And so to me it was just a bad political decision, because if you don't want opposition a second time, you should get the people that opposed it at the table the first time and try to reach a consensus. I mean, that's what they're trying to do in Congress right now. And yet this city is still, like you were saying, just in this divided thing where there's kind of like the Chamber of Commerce, which has raised through their Keep Salem Safe and Friends of Salem Police PAC $111,000 to support the bond measure. We at Salem Can Do Better have $2,200, so that's a 50-to-1 difference. So the money and the power is on the yes side. Whoever we are, just ordinary people, are saying no. And we've seen this before in Salem, and it bothers me. I met with people, in the fall and in the early of the year, said, I don't want this to happen. I'm so upset with what's happening nationally, and I just wake up in the morning with my head ready to explode from Trump. I don't want my head exploding from local things. Let's work together. And we tried, but it just didn't happen. And that's just a commentary on how things in Salem need to change, along with the entire country.
Well, one of the things too, and you kind of bring this up, is the fact that if you bring people into the planning process, then it's part of them. They've helped shape this, and they feel like they're invested in it. And I used to see this in business all the time, that people would make decisions without talking to the people who actually did the work, and then would wonder why people resisted these changes. I said, you didn't talk to them first, to explain what you were doing, to get their input into the process that they're now going to have to do.
Exactly.
And once you talk to those folks and that you come to some sort of agreement, they're okay with it. And you get better results that way because people are cooperating with you.
Right. What would have made sense, and I don't know why this didn't happen, I kind of pictured that after November, after it fails, the city would immediately start a process, a public outreach effort, to get people to come together as they do, say, with, other planning efforts, like with Middle Brown. You have meetings. Before you reach a final plan, you talk to the people that are concerned about the issue and what kind of police facility, what should be like, what sort of police department do we want with community policing, how friendly, how open should the police facility be? Should it be like a fortress, or it should be more welcoming? Should there be basketball courts and, a donut shop if you want to be cliched, or basketball courts or whatever? Instead, what happened was, once again, a plan is developed behind closed doors. It comes to the city council. Then the idea of the city is to have public outreach, meaning here's our plan, I'm reaching out and hoping you take it, as opposed to, here's a blank slate, let's all write on it together and figure out, reach out for ideas. And that would have made selling the plan a lot better. Now they're selling a plan that people had essentially no, no communication and no participation in developing. So that, that may work or it may not. I just don't know if in these days of social, media, that it's enough to put up some lawn signs and all this and just say, vote yes. It may be, we'll see in May.
Well, they're doing telephone polling.
Yes.
They're also doing town hall meetings.
Oh, yes.
Where you call in. I don't know how much
okay.
participation you're going to get in
Right.
one of those.
But of course, nothing can change. I mean, the plan
Is the plan.
The plan is the plan. And there was this idea that the people didn't care about, earthquake proofing the library and City Hall when they voted no. And I know for a fact, just because I just know that wasn't the case. And so we'll see how important that is. That is one of the, the four reasons that I'm giving to vote no. The earthquake preparedness, the cost still too high, the lack of public involvement we've just talked about was a third, and the Salem having many other needs is a fourth, because if you go in your own life, a couple $1 million is a lot of money. When you're at city council meetings, a couple $1 million isn't a lot of money because it's not their money.